The Anunnaki, were they ancient gods or were they powerful manipulators? Steve Mapalmi, Collective Spark reports. Who were these Anunnaki and why should we care? The short answer is the Anunnaki, those of royal blood, quote unquote, are believed to be immortal gods that inhabited Earth during the ancient Sumerian time in Mesopotamia. Well, we already did a video on the Sumerian king list, and these kings at that time were living tens of thousands of years. They had a longevity that was out of this world. And of course, we even have these long-lived ancients in the recorded in the Old Testament. Something happened to life on Earth after the deluge, and the longevity started becoming much shorter. People were living much shorter lives. Something changed in the atmosphere. A lot of people believe that we had a second sun and that Venus was our second sun, was our original sun. Something happened. There was a chaos in our solar system and the Earth moved closer to the sun that we have now. And our atmosphere also changed. So the Anunnaki literally means those who from heaven came down to Earth. Who were the Sumerians? The Sumerians appear on the archaeological record beginning around 4500 BC. They're located in present-day Mesopotamia, Iraq region. Mesopotamia has long been referred to as the cradle of civilization. It's between the Euphrates and Tigris rivers, a very fertile plain. Sumer was a handful of city-states initially ruled by priests and each organized around a city and temple now called a ziggurat. These ziggurats, dedicated to the Anunnaki worship, were layered pyramids with flat tops, and these communities were considered to be servant-slave populations dedicated to serving the temple gods, the Anunnaki. And over time, priesthood rulership gave way to kings. The Sumerians were skilled trade merchants and acquired lapis from Afghanistan, cedar from Lebanon, and gold from the Indus Valley. Their agrarian culture gave us the plow as well as time, how to measure time, the 24-hour day and 60-minute hour. Sumerian history is gleaned from archaeology and geological evidence. Written records are in the form of cuneiform tablets. Reportedly, some 500,000 tablets have been recovered, but only a small number have been translated. Much was also learned from translations of Babylonian records. Sumer was considered ancient in Babylonian times. Sumerian worshipped the Anunnaki, said to be the children of earth and sky, An, the sky god, and Ki, the earth goddess. Chief among them was Enlil, god of the air, and this phenomenon was passed to the Akkadian, Babylonian, and Assyrian cultures. The Epic of Gilgamesh, and I have that in one of my playlists if you want to read it, if you want to hear it. The Epic of Gilgamesh, the story of the historical king of Sumerian city-state Uruk, is an ancient literary relic of Sumerian culture. And in the mainstream narrative regarding the Anunnaki, others have drawn different conclusions based on archaeological evidence, analysis of Sumerian mythology, and translations of the cuneiform tablets. Now, images and text descriptions of the Anunnaki gods generally portray them as human-looking men with beards. Bodies are much larger than human beings, and sometimes they have wings as well. Now, the flip side of the Anunnaki story. Author Michael Cremo of Forbidden Archaeology has researched the history of archaeology for 40 plus years, documenting findings that have been excluded from mainstream academic archaeology, findings that would disrupt the widely accepted story of human origins. Cremo, alongside with Zechariah Sitchin, Eric von Daniken, author of Chariot of the Gods, author and researcher Michael Tellinger, and several others, make compelling arguments that the Anunnaki were in fact off-world beings posing as quote-unquote gods. This theory also asserts that these sky gods, quote-unquote, genetically engineered the human race as slave species, which may account for weak links in the evolutionary story. These theories give birth to the ancient astronaut hypothesis, asserting that off-world beings have been posing as gods to influence human affairs for millennia. And many believe that these Anunnaki extracted massive amounts of gold using human labor, and this is derived from multiple discoveries of ancient mining tunnels in South Africa, as well as relics and links to the Sumerians. Quote, no one knows why they wanted gold, and no one knows how much was taken, end quote. This is what Tellinger explains to us. He added that the Anunnaki introduced the concepts of money, finance, and debt to human societies. A theory that these beings originated from Nibiru, or Planet X, has been added to alternate Anunnaki narratives, as well as the likelihood of the off-world gods bringing advanced technologies that account for sophisticated megastructures such as the pyramids or even Stonehenge. Out-of-place artifacts and tool discoveries contribute to these premises. The Sumerians are also known for sophisticated astronomical and mathematical knowledge, speculated to have passed from the Anunnaki. While no lists of the Anunnaki pantheon exist, it is known that each Sumerian city-state had its own Anunnaki god or overseer assigned by senior Anunnaki Marduk. Some, perhaps inspired by Theosophical Society founder Helena Blavatsky's book The Secret Doctrine, assert that the Anunnaki were a reptilian race that survives to this day, deeply entrenched in human affairs. In her book, Blavatsky wrote of dragon men who influenced the lost Lemurian civilization. Now, let's remember, in the Emerald Tablets, Thoth, or Hermes Trismegistus, told us that there were extraterrestrial entities that were in fact serpent-headed, or that, well, he called them serpent-headed, but with reptile skin, so therefore we call them reptilians. And he said that these are shapeshifters. They're very malevolent. They want to upset humanity, and they're causing chaos on Earth. And he says that they are in fact shapeshifters. They look like human to us. They take the places of the legitimately elected and appointed leaders of countries, even today, as they did in ancient history, and they rule in their stead because they take their shape. And in fact, it's not them; it's these reptilians, and they create havoc. So this is what is explained in the Emerald Tablets. Now, David Icke has been on disclosure conspiracy lecture circuit since 1999, and he accurately reports that things that have proven true after Jimmy Savile passed away in 2011. Icke believes that the imposter Anunnaki gods continue to manipulate humanity from seats of political, corporate, and financial power worldwide. And this is exactly what was written in the Emerald Tablets by Thoth the Atlantean. And this is exactly what he said, that this would be taking place in the future, and it's still taking place today. This is what David Icke is informing us of. And he explains that these beings not only exploit humans, but feed off collective fear. Icke calls for a disconnect from mainstream media. So, they feed off collective fear, meaning if you go back to the videos that I posted today concerning the archons, and that is a spiritual conflict that we have to be aware of, and how to protect ourselves from that. It's about 10 videos back or something. Yeah, the negative entities. One psychiatrist says that these negative entities are for real, very nasty, pretend not to exist. Another one, archons, plant negative voices in your mind, and you'll see them. They're about 20 videos back. So this is what David Icke, again, and also Thoth, the Atlantean, or Hermes Trismegistus, wrote about this very clearly. And you'll see the playlist of the Emerald Tablets if you want to listen to it. Very interesting stuff. So this is what's going on even today. Now, if you want to, please go and hear those, because there's a lot of information there as far as the advanced technology that the Atlanteans had, Anunnaki, whatever you want to call them, Nephilim. He even states that a few, after the deluge and before the deluge, a few of these Atlanteans had escaped to other areas of the world, taking their technology with them, setting up new cities with pyramids, etc. And we find pyramids all over the world, even in South America, even in North America, even in Nubia, all over Africa, in China as well. Those pyramids were basically found with airplanes flying over areas of China around the 1940s, because it's not easy to see them, to fly and find them, but because, you know, they're not being advertised. But we even have planes of pyramids that have the same exact layout as the Giza pyramids. So, you know, you can see that everything is tied in together. They use the same construction, the same layouts, using astral constellations, not only there but also in Greece, the Peloponnese of Greece. We found that out with the maps that we were given, that the cities were actually located in the positions of the stars of the constellations. That's exactly where the cities are even found today. That's very strange. Why would they do that? And this was from antiquity. You'll find that in the video having to do before there was a moon, the Proselines, telling us that before there was a moon. Obviously, it was at the time when Earth was still before the flood, you know, before we had the rainbows. And there's a lot that many believe that it was because we had Venus as our sun. But that's for another topic. It's very, very interesting. So please comment and share. Thank you for your support. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.